Good evening from Washington. I'm Laura Ingraham. Thanks for joining us tonight. In the wake of Tuesday's terror attack in New York City, the issue of chain migration is rapidly becoming one of the biggest issues facing America. The process seems so kind and is often framed as family-oriented immigration. When one immigrant comes into the country, he or she later brings in his family members. But this process very quickly increases the number of immigrants living in the United States. Get this. A report from the Center for Immigration Studies says that 61% of immigrants admitted to the United States in the last 35 years are here due to chain migration. 61%, that's 20 million people. The issue has become even hotter following our exclusive interview with President Trump last night. I asked him whether any deal with Congress to allow so-called dreamers to stay in the United States legally, whether it should address the issue of chain migration. You talked about E-Verify, building the wall, chain migration, which is a huge problem.
All of those things are happening.
And is that going to be part of any DACA deal? So if the Democrats want dreamer help, they're going to have to do. They're going to have to do E-Verify chain migration.
Sure. Chain migration is one of the most important things that most people.
Is that a requirement for you?
Until yesterday, most people never heard of chain migration. I gave a form of a press conference and I started talking about chain migration. And this horrible animal, he's an animal as far as I'm concerned. 23 people have touched him, maybe came in because he was in, and he was only in with a green card, supposedly. But chain migration, where his whole family comes in, his mother can come in, his father, his grandmother, everybody comes in. Chain migration is a disaster for this country, and it's going to end. Now, I've been talking about it for a while, but I think the public until yesterday probably never heard about chain migration.
Well, the Republicans didn't want to touch it for a long time. You've held up a mirror to what the Republicans weren't doing.
They're touching it now. It's become a very, very strong point right now.
Will it be part of a dreamer deal,
yes,
a DACA deal?
It'll be part of a DACA deal. DACA is a lot different than dreamer.
I mean, for the deferred action for childhood arrivals, will you require that if any amnesty talks will require chain migration to
I don't
end?
think any Republican would vote for anything having to do with leaving chain migration. Chain migration is a disaster for this country.
Joining us now for reaction from Fort Worth, Texas, is immigration attorney Francisco Henandez, a dual citizen of Mexico and the United States. Fernando, great to see you. Tell us why chain migration is something that should be continued, even given the numbers. Fernando, we're seeing 61% of all new immigrants in the United States come from this process of chain migration.
That's because there's no such thing as chain migration. It's called family-based immigration, and that's the only thing we have in the United States. There's two honor students, Majid and Viola. They will agree if we could just remove the politics from immigration. It's just the law of supply and demand. If there are jobs that are going to come, there is no such thing as chain migration. Nobody's ever heard of it before this week.
Well,
it's family-based petition.
Okay, well, this is what it is. I'll explain it to you. When an individual comes into the United States, this is a fact, this is, according to U.S. statistics, when an individual comes into the United States on a green card, his family members
you don't come in with a green card.
I will
finish. You don't come in with a green card. You have to come in with a visa. He becomes
a permanent legal resident of the United States. That's what a green card is. You ultimately get a green card. So when he comes into the United States,
permanent legal resident.
Sweetheart, let me just finish, okay? And then you can make your salient point.
All right.
When he or she is admitted into the United States, you get that permanent resident status, as we saw with the terrorist from Uzbekistan. You are then allowed to give preferential treatment to certain family members. This is a fact. Now, I know you like to call it family-based. Yes, they are family members. You're absolutely right about that. However, this sheer number of people results in a very difficult thing for both, number one, assimilation, number two, proper vetting, number three, a strain on social services in the United States. No strain on social services, because most of the people coming in are lower skilled labor who obviously are competing with lower skilled American labor, which is our first responsibility.
That is just so wrong. That is just wrong, Miss Ingram.
Okay,
you know better. You know better because
okay,
you have
make the
children.
argument. I'm waiting. I'm all ears.
Because there's only one degree of consanguinity. It doesn't for a brother to bring a brother is like 18 years for it to come. It's not like a mass influx of immigrants because chain migration. There's no such thing as chain migration. Family-based petition, and that is what this country was built upon.
No, the country. Actually, the country was not built upon family immigration into the United States. The country is founded on constitutional principles of liberty and justice for all, and that means liberty and freedom under the rule of law. Do you believe, Francisco, you're a dual citizen? By the way, if you had to choose right now, which country would you choose?
America, baby.
Yeah. All right,
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't get the Francisco, I don't get the whole dual citizen thing. I mean, I guess maybe if someone offered me dual citizenship, maybe I'd take it, but I don't really understand
my children have a European Union citizenship. That means that American Airlines could hire them. Yeah, 3 there, European Union citizenship.
Wow.
That means they could go to work. Absolutely.
You have 3 countries that you're citizens. Oh, wow. That's pretty.
Dutch, Mexican, and United States, yes.
Wow, you hit the lottery there. But do you think that people have a universal, do you think individuals have a universal right to enter the United States? From anywhere in the world.
Right? There's no rights. There's only opportunities. This is the promised land. This is the land that people die trying to get to it. People hang under a train for 8 hours trying to cross the border to get here and make it happen. They don't want rights. They don't want rights. They want an opportunity.
Do you think businesses that hire illegal labor in the United States, that pay them the wages they pay them, that are under market wages, do you think that's compassionate?
Well, that's why we need immigration reform. Yes. Look, they're coming here.
That's obviously not compassionate.
Supply and demand.
That's not compassionate,
There's jobs that are going to come. It's not about compassionate. It's about who's going to do the job that they're going to do. Now, why do we do immigration reform?
Francisco, do you know Barbara Jordan? Do you know who Barbara Jordan is?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
She was the famed civil rights leader, African-American woman.
Ethics.
She gave one of the most important speeches on immigration.
She did.
She addressed all these issues, family migration. And her view on this was our primary responsibility. No offense to immigrants. We are a nation of immigrants, and we should welcome immigrants to the United States when we can fully assimilate them, when they're merit-based, not just family-based, but merit-based immigration. But she said what's most important, especially with low-skilled workers, that they end up displacing necessarily American workers, especially African Americans and Latinos in the United States and poor whites.
That is a fallacy. She was wrong. I'm sorry. She was wrong.
So she was wrong?
She was wrong. Absolutely, she was not wrong.
So who do you think did all these jobs before we had an influx of illegal immigrants in the United States? Who did these jobs? Magicians?
That was before.
Elves?
Oh, my goodness. That was because we created a void, a vacuum with the war on poverty in the late 60s, where we guaranteed in this country a minimum standard of living. But you know what? We created a vacuum for these low-skilled and high-skilled.
Why is it fair?
It's not easy.
Yeah. Why should we in the United States, Francisco, take if it's the best and the brightest coming to the United States, why should we take the best and the brightest from other countries who clearly need their work and their help in their home countries?
Well, we sure wanted Albert Einstein, didn't we, Miss Ingram? We'll take Albert Einstein.
That was merit. That was merit.
That's merit-based.
I was being facetious.
But you know what? It was more vocational-based than merit-based because he knew how to do it, and we loved him. So, yes, we're a nation of immigrants. Come on, guys. Let's do immigration reform. Don't be chicken, Congress. I agree with President Trump.
Do you think,
Congress is chicken.
What deportation do you favor? Like, what kind of deportation? Only, like, violent criminals? Or should anyone else be deported from the United States?
Let's come up with a definition. Tell me what the ticket costs to live in this country. Pay your bills, pay your taxes, support your family. Don't commit crimes. You get to stay.
I have a question for you. If someone immigrates into the United States, do you think a family sponsor should be financially responsible for them so the U.S. taxpayer isn't?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So you would agree to that?
Nothing wrong with that.
On a Friday, we can agree.
We have never collected one single financial sponsor. Not one ever. Isn't that ridiculous?
Tafshin Malik, or whatever her name is, from the San Bernardino. Remember her, the San Bernardino
absolutely.
wife came in on a fraudulent, it was a different type of thing. It was an engagement visa, but it was totally fraudulent.
It had nothing to do with chain immigration.
Well, we're going to find out more from Mr. Saipov and how many family members and other associates he helped bring into the United States. We're going to confirm that 23 statistic, or get the right statistic. But we appreciate you joining us very much on this Friday. Thank you so much. And coming up, Christians overseas are under siege by ISIS.